Hey, and what's up, guys? Ace Anime here. And today I'm going to be talking about a theory that I sort of had, and I've been meaning to put it up. I put it up on the Amino today in one of my blogs. It did hit the featured chart, which was pretty awesome to see. So, as we all know, we have the supernovas, which are an absolute badass bunch. And we've also got one of my favourite characters who's in that supernova group, other than Zoro and Law. There is Eustass Kidd. Now, Kidd has been getting a lot of crap after losing to Kaido and ending up in a state that literally makes him look nothing more than a ragdoll itself. So, what I decided to do was with my one week of theory that I'm doing, so I'm doing a whole week straight of theories. I decided to do the best theory to start off with, which is Eustass Kidd's power level. Now, as we all know, this is sort of hard to judge. We've only seen a bit of Eustass Kidd. We saw him at Shabondi or Sabaody, as whatever you guys want to call it, and it was pretty frightening. He was given his bounty, which at the time was higher than even Luffy's. He was the highest bounty of all the supernovas as a captain, and he had his right hand man, which was Killer, who was also, just like Zoro, none other than one of the supernovas, one of the new worst generation members. So, what would you put him as? What level would I put him as? And I would still say he is up there as one of the strongest and one of the most devious. And what I'm gonna do is, instead of splitting this up, I'm actually gonna split this up like I normally do, but I'm doing it into the three main parts of what a warrior, of what a pirate needs, which is haki, devil fruit, and mental capabilities. Mental capabilities, I mean like intelligence, how he acts, how he thinks, what he does, all of that. Now, haki, as of current, we have not seen any use of haki by Eustass Kidd, but as we've seen with many other characters, we did not see them use haki, but we knew they had the abilities such as Fire Fist Ace. Um, we saw Marco use haki, but he didn't actually have the black armor or anything. So we do know that all these other characters have used haki or had the ability to use haki, but haven't exactly shown it. So this does not mean that he cannot use haki at all. And you know what? I believe he has haki, and I believe he can use it, and I believe he can even go so far as to say use all three types of haki. So Conqueror's haki, observation, and armament. Now, where would I get this theory from? Well, I shall explain. First off, he obviously knew about haki when he was at the slave house and he saw Rayleigh use Conqueror's haki to knock out all the guards. Along with it being a major need in the New World to survive, how else was he meant to survive in the New World? How else was he meant to overthrow all of those, um, all of the Yonko's islands? How was he meant to cause such a problem to Big Mom and to Kaido? He had to have a form of haki, even if it was just one, two. But I believe he had three to cause such a big problem and to be such, like, stirring up so much. So in saying this, I see at the minimum he would need both observation and armament to be causing this havoc, to be causing so much fear among so many people in the New World, which in itself would make him a respectable character, respectable as a pirate, and how strong he would be. Now, where would I put these two forms of haki? Like, what level? Well, I would say that his armament would be one of his strongest types. Due to his personality and him being a bit of a headstrong fighter, I see his armament being probably one of his more superior types out of the three types of haki. Although his observation I see as being similar to Luffy's. So Luffy's observation is quite good, but it is nowhere near the best out of his three types of haki. His best is obviously Conqueror's, followed by armament, then by observation. Now, the King's haki. Now, this is a bit of a tough one to say. Now, this is where my main theory comes. I see him having this due to him being Straw Hat's main rival out of all the supernovas from the worst generation, along with his crew being the rival to the Straw Hats due to Killer being the other worst generation member, who is a right-hand man like Zoro. It would make sense for him to also have the Conqueror's haki because he wants to be the king of the pirate. So he'd need to be a king, he'd need King's haki, which is Conqueror's haki. So I see him being adept in this at this time. not to the level of Luffy, and the reason being is because he was not taught by someone like Rayleigh, who was just an absolute beast when it came to Conqueror's Haki, observation, and armament. Now, that sort of concludes the Haki. So I see him being adept at Haki, but I do not see him being... I don't see him being the best at it. I see Luffy's Haki being slightly above his, but then again, Luffy needs that excess Haki because his Devil Fruit, while being somewhat powerful with his Gear 2, Gear 3, and now Gear 4 with the Haki, it's still not the best of the Devil Fruits out of the worst generation, and Kidd's Devil Fruit is quite powerful. It is OP. It has so many possibilities. Now, this is where I'm excited. Kidd's Devil Fruit. Now, while the name of his Devil Fruit is still currently unknown to us, it has been showcased to an extent during this, like the Shibondi arc, the Sabaody arc, the magnetizing powers. This is dangerous. We saw him use guns to fire. So he can fire guns by attaching them to his arm or to his body part, or using them in the air to attach, and using guns, using swords, using any bit of metal he can get a hold of and manipulating it. His magnetism power is absolutely insane. So this made him quite a fair bit more powerful, in my opinion, originally to Luffy. He was stronger than Luffy, I believe, before the time skip due to this, because his magnetism powers were so useful, very similar to Law's Devil Fruit being stronger than Luffy's due to being operating Opi no Mi, which is the operating room. Now, here's my theories on his fruit. So, after the time skip, here are the possibilities I see his Devil Fruit level being at. Possible making a suit, like a metal suit around him, not only as like an attacking or an offensive force, but as quite a strong defense. And if he can imbue it with Haki, similar to how Zoro imbues his swords with Haki, it could be sort of like a Gundam sort of thing, like firing bullets, having swords, all of that covered around him as a shield, just like Cracker. Now that would be awesome. Or even possibly making little Gundam people, little metal people like Cracker did with the Biscuit Warriors, which would be awesome in itself, because think about it like that, he would have a similar power in the sense to Cracker, how he used that little army, and it would make him a lot more dangerous than someone like Luffy, whose powers sort of have a limit with the rubber. Though this will only be possible, so this is where it comes with the cutback, where Cracker can make Biscuit Warriors out of nothing by clapping his hands. Kidd does not have this ability. He needs those weapons. He needs that metal around him, available at all times, to be able to make this Gundam, or not this Gundam, this suit, or to make these metal warriors of doom. So that is one of the drawbacks from that sort of power. So it isn't so OP that it's crazy. Now, another possibility, increased range. Now, where do I get this idea from? His increased range to magnetize things could be a possibility similar to Law making a larger room after the time skipped and being more adept at holding it. I see Kidd being able to possibly attract metal and weapons from a greater radius with much more ease. This could possibly be like half an island or even a whole island length away, which would mean he wouldn't have to have armaments of weapons close by or within a short vicinity. He could be grabbing it from a completely different location, a completely different fight, which could also help out his own team members if he is taking it away from such a far distance. This also means he doesn't have to lug weapons or metal around, which would be really cool. The third part for the Devil Fruit, pulling metal from the earth. So we know that the metal is made up of minerals, it's made up of dirt, all of that, but it has a large compact of metals within the earth's mantle, in the earth's crust, and all of that. He could be pulling metal from those two places. So if he's pulling out molten metal, and if he's pulling out even just normal metal, this is dangerous, because he could be having like an overpowered high heat metal attack, similar to like Luffy having his Red Hawk. He could have something that's hot and fiery like that, similar to magma, to like what Akainu is producing with magma and lava and sort of stuff, but controlling it through the metal alloys within that. Now that would be awesome, because that gives him the possibility to sort of have that secondary power from a similar, well not from a similar, from a different type of Devil Fruit class, like a low gear class in that sense, by using that sort of power. Lastly, this one I do not see as being yet, or maybe he has reached it if he has reached a Devil Fruit Awakening. And this is to magnetize anything that he either touches or sends an electromagnetic pulse out to, or electromagnetic energy. This means that dirt, rock, wood, even people could be magnetized and bent to his will. Now, I see this as only being an awakening power, as that is sort of OP because technically he could then rip apart top tier characters via magnetism by just moving his arms apart and magnetizing that person, just ripping them apart, which would be way too OP in my opinion, which people, well, I believe they could actually block it out with Haki because it would work similar to normal Devil Fruit abilities. If their Haki stronger, they can sort of cancel out the Devil Fruit. Like with Law's Opa Opa No Mi, Dofi could cancel it out because his Haki was superior. And we get on to the final part of Kidd, intelligence and mental capacity. Kidd is by no means an idiotic character. He is actually very smart. He went so far as to avoid confrontation with people like the Celestial Dragons, to avoid the Buster Call with people like Admirals like Kizaru, Akainu, Aokiji at the time. Along with being able to overthrow a lot of the Yonko's territories within the New World after and during the time skip. This, along with his battle ability from his Devil Fruit and his theorized ability of Haki and possible Devil Fruit abilities as well, makes him quite adept in battle and warfare alike, making him a dangerous character to Luffy. Similar, because Luffy has that sort of headstrong nature, but he's not adept in warfare. He's quite stupid in that, where he has characters like Nami and Robin and Sanji and stuff, who are very smart and can tactfully, come up with tactics. Kidd, on the other hand, can do that himself. He is quite smart and has quite an ability to do that. But what makes him the most dangerous in my mind is his unstable mind and personality, along with his bloodlust and reckless abandon when going into battle. Kidd is seen to have no qualms killing, as he is known to have killed civilians and marines alike, which assisted in his bounty being higher than Luffy during the Sabaody arc. Him being this merciless shows that mistakes are lessened, as he is not like Luffy. Luffy tends to leave a lot of his enemies alive, and they can come back and get him, bite him in the butt. Like Bellamy coming back and causing Luffy that mental pain because he did not want to hurt Bellamy, allowing Luffy to take damage because he refused to attack till the very end. Kidd, on the other hand, if you are his enemy and you are not stronger than him, you're gone. He's just going to kill you. He's merciless. He's ruthless. And that is what I like about Kidd. That's probably one of my most favorite traits about him, because he lives up to that pirate name. He lives up to the worst generation name. Now, I see this as making his journey more fluid, and also to a degree safer for him and his crew, allowing him to progress at a greater rate. Overall, Kidd to me, so where would I put him currently among everything? I would put him in between Law and Luffy. So Law and Luffy can be interchangeable in power levels in the sense of Devil Fruit, Haki. Haki definitely goes to Luffy. Luffy I see as having possibly the strongest Haki out of all of them. I'm saying out of all the supernovas, Luffy has the strongest Haki. Possibly followed by Zoro and Law. Kidd I see as being a bit more balanced. His Devil Fruit is definitely stronger than Luffy's, but not stronger than Law's. Law's has that amazing ability. On the other hand, Eustass Kidd is smarter than Luffy. Law is a genius. Law is a battle genius, just like Luffy, but Luffy, when it comes to warfare and stuff, is not good at tactics. So I see Luffy falling a bit behind Eustass and Law in that thing. But overall, when it comes to a 1v1, Luffy is very adept, just like Law and Eustass Kidd are. So, as we've seen very little in terms of fighting, that is why I'm putting him there, and he is definitely not Yonko level, as Kaido easily dealt with him to the point he's on the verge of death, as seen in the... So, what are your thoughts on Kidd? What do you think about this theory of mine? If you do not like it, you know what, that's alright, I get it. If you do, or if you want to discuss it, leave a comment in the comment section below for discussion. Like and share if you enjoyed. And you know what, if you also enjoyed, please subscribe, because I'm going to try and put out more content on this channel more often, because I'm getting more into this One Piece community. I will also make a Discord. But yeah, if you do enjoy, please subscribe. Peace.